This winter, I set out on a personal challenge to visit all 11 Division I college basketball schools in the state of Massachusetts, and we succeeded. 9 schools, 11 stadiums, 11 games of college basketball in a 4-month span. I had an absolute blast doing this challenge because I love basketball and I got to learn a ton about the ways that other schools showcase their teams. As I went to these schools, I rated them based on 10 different criteria. These were the parking, campus vibes, stadium, facilities, atmosphere, player intros, jerseys, student section, seating, and concessions. I rated every school on a scale of 1 to 10 based on a lot of subjectivity. And based on that subjectivity, I gave them a score out of 100 for how much I enjoyed being a fan at a game there. In this video, I'm going to go over my 11 superlatives that I'll be awarding to different schools that I probably didn't even mention in any of my previous videos. If you enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and be sure to check out my next sports stadium review series, which is starting very soon. More about that later. So first up, let's just give the award to the best stadium. Now, if I was to continue this series in the fall, I would probably go back and revise some of these scores, but it was all just kind of based on comparing to one another. But at the same time, I was comparing all of these stadiums to the 2 other stadiums I've been to, being Michigan State's Breslin Center and Rutgers, I believe they're called the Jimmy Johns. Jersey Mike's, I'm sorry, it's Jersey Mike's Arena. I should have figured that out. They're in New Jersey. I'm not good with names. Comparing all these schools to those schools kind of set a baseline that I'd be always comparing something to, because otherwise Harvard was the first one and it'd get a bad rap. If it's being compared everything to Harvard, everything else would be 100. But for now, this is how the final standings ended up. In 11th place was Stonehill's McCurt Gymnasium, which received a 55 out of 100, UMass Lowell's Costello Athletic Center, 57 out of 100, Harvard's Lafayette's Pavilion, 57 out of 100 as well, but for different reasons. Merrimack College's Hamel Court got a 62, Boston University's Case Gymnasium got a 64, Northeastern Matthews Arena got a 67, as well as Boston College's Conti Forum. Merrimack College's Lawler Rink got a 76, which tied with UMass Lowell's Tsonga Center for 76, and Holy Cross's Hart Center takes second place with a 78, but it could not stand up to UMass's Mullins Arena, which received an 88 out of 100. The most impressive thing about those top 4, in my opinion, is that Holy Cross's Hart Center is the only stadium in that top 4 that is not also a hockey rink. So being that it rated second highest, I think that by all technicalities, that would say that it's the best basketball court. Stonehill being down at the bottom, I did not find all that surprising, considering they've only been D1 for approximately 20 months at this point. I would hope in the future that they would make some adjustments to their stadium once they've built up a little more reputation and have a little more money coming in. But this does mean that the top overall school award is going to go to UMass. The best floor design award is going to go to the Northeastern Huskies and Matthews Arena. This off-gray court with the giant Husky logo in the middle was very cool. I loved it. There was no other court on here that I looked at and went, whoa, that's a cool court. So I think by default, Northeastern gets it. But watching a game on Northeastern's court, it felt weird to be watching on something gray. It reminded me a little bit of the Brooklyn Nets, but it wasn't as offensive as some other courts that I've seen out there, like looking at Oregon. So the best floor design is going to go to Northeastern. The best Jumbotron award is also going to go to Northeastern. Northeastern's Jumbotron was impressively big, it was detailed, it was clear, it was centered exactly where I'd want it to be as a sports fan. When you compare it to the other top ones, like Merrimack's was great, but it was all the way off to the side. It felt like it was a million miles away. It wasn't over the court. Boston College's, they had 2 of them, but they were on the sides as well. UMass Lowell had the little one in the middle at Tsonga Arena. So it felt like Northeastern's was like the definitive Jumbotron that everything was being compared to. Even UMass's felt off compared to Northeastern's. The best band award is going to go to Merrimack College and their performance at Lawler Arena. This band was really, really good. Their guitar player was fantastic. The band was loud and huge, and they were constantly playing to the point that I don't know how often we heard the in-house DJ playing music. I am going to give an honorable mention to Boston University. Their band was really good. They were going for the whole game. The Best Player Introductions Award is going to go to Northeastern. Now, trust me, I'm not a Northeastern fan. I've only been to Matthews once before this. It may seem like I'm giving a lot to them. I swear I'm not. But this player introductions video followed by the announcement, it gave me goosebumps, which I didn't know was possible if you're not a fan of the team. Like, normally I go to Celtics games and I'm like, ooh, let's go, Celtics, let's go, let's go. But I didn't feel that at any other school other than Northeastern. It probably has something to do with the black and red color scheme and the Husky emerging out of the fire on the Jumbotron, and then a complete blackout. It was just very cool. They used their color scheme to the max. Their video was fantastic. The Best Customer Service Award is going to go to the Merrimack College team. Now, technically, I went to 3 Merrimack College games this year. The reason being was that I was originally going to review Lawler Arena during the game against Bucknell back on December 22nd. But the school elected to make this game free to attend. I think probably because they had low numbers anyways. But the athletic director emailed everybody that had bought a ticket, which felt like a pretty short list of people, and offered to take the tickets and forward them to a future game at Lawler. When I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll immediately take him up on that. I think it'll be a more fair judgment if I can go to a game that will actually have people at it. So I emailed back immediately, and the Merrimack College athletic director emailed me back right away and said, hey, since you're the first person to respond, I'm going to give you courtside seats at the game of your choosing. Which was awesome. It was so cool. I've never sat courtside at a game before, except for like my brother's like 6th grade game, but that doesn't really count. So I ended up sitting courtside at St. Francis, PA, which was awesome. The Most Entertaining Player Award is most certainly going to Jordan Durkak of Merrimack, but we're going to talk about some more players that I really liked a little bit later on. When I went to that Bucknell game during the warm-ups, I watched Durkak jump through that roof, and I told my brother, this kid is going to dunk all over Bucknell today. And he did just that. Jordan had a phenomenal game against Bucknell. He was electric in the second half against Lemoyne, and he put St. Francis on a poster a few times. Maybe it's because I watched him 3 individual times and he caught my eye, but every time he played, I was impressed by him. He was Merrimack's top scorer on the season, and I cannot wait to watch him destroy my Michigan State Spartans in the fall when he suits up for Rutgers. The Best Student Section Award is going to go to Boston University. We basically sat in the student section. There were people that were around my age or younger everywhere in the section I was in, so I'm going to assume that I was somewhere in the student section. But these fans had opinions on the game. They were loud, they were yelling at the refs, they were very energetic, they were nearly a perfect student section, plus the band was a section and a half over from me, so I think that really added to the experience, made me feel like I was a fan of BU. The Best Jersey Award, I'm actually going to give to a road team. It's going to go to UMass Boston. Their Black City Skyline jerseys were so clean, and they were the best jerseys I saw the whole time. So I feel pretty okay giving them the award for best jerseys. If I had to choose otherwise, see, it's funny to me because I found an issue with every other one of the jerseys. I'd probably give it to Boston College. If not Boston College, then maybe Holy Cross's road jerseys would be good too. I really couldn't place a best team. I actually just spent about 5 minutes looking through the old clips to find the one I like the most. I'm probably just going to stick with BC. I like their color scheme a lot. If not BC, then probably UMass Lowell's home jerseys with their white, blue, and red. The Best Mascot Award was really hard to figure out. I sat there for a long time trying to figure out which one I like the most. At the end of the day, though, I am going to stick with Baldwin of Boston College. He's just a really cool bird mascot. It's a really, really clean one. I am going to give honorable mentions, though, to BU's Rhett and Northeastern's Paws, because those were really good mascots as well. And this one's a little silly, but the most outdated thumbnail award is going to go to Harvard's Malik Mack, who transferred to Georgetown literally the day the season was over. The final thing I'd like to go over is my all-Massachusetts team. Now, I made these solely based on the games that I saw. So, if this was a crazy Linsanity game, they might just be on here. In fact, I know that one of them's a Linsanity game. First, we have Tony Felder, sophomore guard of Stonehill. He dropped 30 points on St. Francis's Head to give Stonehill their 4th win of the season, and this was the second to last game of the season for Stonehill. It was a really big game to watch. He was just hitting shot after shot after shot. It was crazy. Second up is Jordan Durkak, sophomore guard of Merrimack. He just impressed me at every step along the way, and I can't wait to watch him at Rutgers. Third up is Chris Doherty, the grad forward from Northeastern. He scored 27 points and 13 rebounds against William & Mary. He really kept them in that game down to the buzzer, even though in the end they would lose. It was still a really impressive game out of Doherty. I loved watching him in that game. Next up is Max Brooks, senior forward out of UMass Lowell. He had a crazy good game on both ends of the floor. He put up a ton of points. He was grabbing boards. He was getting blocks. He was a pest on defense. He was really good to watch. Even in the UNH game that we'd watch him at Songus, he was still pretty good. So I'm going to give the nod to Max Brooks here. Fifth is the sophomore forward from Boston University, Otto Landrum. I don't think he could have been more efficient on offense and defense against Bryant. He really forced them to play a protected defense to prevent him from destroying them. And he himself held Bryant's 2 forwards to 3 combined points. So Landrum had a fantastic game. I hear that he's a fan favorite as well. Probably because he's a little goofy. And I'm going to give a 6-man nod. I have to mention it to Rasul Diggins of UMass. He's a junior guard. He made 6 threes against Rhode Island. All of them were in big time moments. It felt like he had like 2 in the first half and 4 in the second half, I think is how it's split. He was all over the place. He made a bunch of big shots. I think he went 6 for 6 actually. I'm going to look that up real quick. Oh, never mind. He went 6 for 11 and he only shot 2 not 3-point shots. Well, either way, he had a great game. I'm also going to bring up Mason Madsen and Jaden Zachary of Boston College. They had a great game for BC when I went. Thomas Battiers of Harvard had a great game, and Caleb Kenny and Will Batchelder of Holy Cross. But I also do want to mention Manny Azias of UMass Boston. Even though he was the away team, technically, he only went like 2 miles, and it's still Massachusetts. So I'm going to count it for Manny Azias. He had a fantastic game. He could not miss against Harvard. I did write it down on my phone as well. I'm going to go over my all visiting team real quick. Gotta mention first Sharif Gross Bullock, senior guard from Bryant, had a fantastic game against BC. Dion Perry, the sophomore guard from Loyola, Maryland, had a great game against Holy Cross. I already mentioned Manny Zayas. So we'll mention Dion Baker of UMBC, who I saw against UMass Lowell Costello. Had a great game as well in his homecoming. He's from Massachusetts. Clarence Daniels and Jackson Baker of UNH, they were insane. So I'm going to mention them as well. Basketball is for sure one of my favorite sports, and I was so excited to be able to go on this journey. But now I'm prepared for my next journey, which is coming this summer. I mentioned earlier I would bring it up. Me and my brother this summer are planning to go to as many minor league ballparks as we can in the Northeast. Our plans are to go to, not in this order, Syracuse, Binghamton, Scranton, Allentown, or also known as Lehigh Valley, Reading, Somerset, Worcester, Portland, Hartford, and New Hampshire. That's the last one. I was like, which one did I forget? Depending on when this video goes live, I may have already actually started. I'm hoping I can get this out before I actually, go. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to subscribe. It does help out the channel a lot. With that being said, my name is Ethan. This is HardCap Games, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.